The lantern of the World Eater. The lantern drifted where the sky thinned into night. A solitary star tethered by nothing the eye could see. Its glass was the color of old honey, clouded by centuries of breath and prayer. And within it burned a light that did not flicker so much as remember itself. Sailors swore the seas curved away from its glow. Shepherds said wolves would not cross its shadow. Mothers taught their children to point to it when the earth trembled and say, "It is still awake." But the light was fading. Iria knew this before the council summoned her. She felt it in the archives, how the air had grown brittle between the shelves, how the ink in the oldest books had paled like bone left too long in sun. Memory was leaking from the world, and where memory thinned, hunger followed. They called the thing inside the lantern the World Eater, though the name was a kindness. It was older than names, older than the idea of a world. When it woke, land folded into it like bread into broth. Rivers vanished. Stars dimmed, as if ashamed to be seen. The lantern had been forged not to cage the creature's body. That was impossible, but to bind its attention. So long as the light burned bright with remembrance, the beast dreamed of fullness and did not wake. Iria was a scholar of lost tongues and living histories, which was another way of saying she collected what others let go. She had learned to read the faintest margins, the pressed flowers between pages, the lullabies written where no one thought to look. Memory, she believed, was not a thing you kept. It was a thing that kept you. When she climbed the wind stairs toward the lantern, the sky grew cold enough to sting. The steps were made of air held firm by old spells, each one humming as if recalling the footfalls of those who had climbed before her. She carried no torch. The lantern's glow was enough. Thin, trembling, but enough. Up close, the glass showed hairline fractures like the beginnings of frost. Inside, the light moved sluggishly, as though wading through thick water. Beneath it, far beneath, something vast shifted, a pressure without shape, a patience that had outlasted continents. The keeper met her at the threshold, a man with eyes worn smooth by watching. "You know what it costs?" he said. His voice was not a warning. It was a ledger. "I know," Iria replied. She set down her satchel and opened it. There were no tools inside, only keepsakes. A cracked teacup rimmed with gold, a child's shoe with a loose button, a ribbon stained with seawater. Objects that had outlived their usefulness, but not their meaning. The ritual was simple. That was the cruelty of it. To feed the lantern, one must offer memories, true ones, anchored in the body. The lantern did not accept stories told at a distance. It wanted heat, pulse, the tremor of being there. Iria touched the glass. The lantern answered by opening. Not a door, an invitation. The light reached for her like a held breath, and when she leaned in, the world tilted. She stood suddenly in a summer kitchen that smelled of citrus and rain. Her mother laughed at the stove, sleeves rolled, humming a tune Iria had not known she remembered. The sound was so sharp it hurt. "Say, let it go." The lantern brightened. Another memory followed, a winter road boot soaked through. Her first love walking beside her in silence that felt like trust. The way his hand brushed hers. Accidental. Electric. She released it, felt the ache bloom and pass, and the light steadied further, thickening into a glow that pushed back the surrounding dark. Below, the World Eater stirred. Not awake. Aware. The hunger pressed closer to the glass. Testing. Tasting. The lantern's light flared in response, fed by the richness of what Iria surrendered. She felt lighter with each offering, as if the shape of her life were being thinned to a sketch. "Careful," the keeper said softly. "Leave yourself enough to return." But Iria understood the mathematics of this. The lantern did not want quantity. It wanted weight. And the heaviest memories were the ones she had circled for years without touching. She offered her father's last morning, the way the sun struck dust in the doorway, the way he tried to smile and failed. She offered the sound of her own voice breaking. The lantern drank deeply, and the sky rang like struck glass. The light surged, honey gold and fierce, casting a long, protective arc over the world. The World Eater recoiled, its vastness folded inward, sated by the illusion of fullness. It sank back into dream, its pressure easing, its hunger lulled by a feast of lives lived and loved. When Iria pulled her hand away, the glass sealed, smooth and whole. The lantern floated steadier now, its glow strong enough to paint the clouds with dawn. The wind stairs hummed their approval. She sat where she was, breathing carefully, inventorying herself. Some things were gone forever. Others remained altered but intact. Names without faces. Warmth without scenes. Enough. The keeper helped her to her feet. "The light will hold," he said. For a time, Iria agreed. Time was what memory brought. As she descended, the world below looked sharper, as if relieved. Fields breathed. Rivers remembered their courses. Somewhere, a child pointed up and learned the word for hope without being taught. Years later, when Iria's hair had gone silver and the archives had learned her gait, she would climb the windstairs again, not because the lantern demanded it, but because she had come to understand a quieter truth. The world eater was not kept asleep by fear or force. It was kept dreaming by love made luminous. And so the lantern drifted on, fed by what the world could not afford to forget. Its light, a promise written in memory, that even the oldest hunger can be held at bay, if we are willing to remember together.